Hello and welcome to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. We are here today to talk about the Kappa. Kappa?
Kappa.
You say Kappa, I say Kappa. Tomato,
All
tomato.
of the videos I watched today were Kappa, so I'm assuming it's Kappa, but they are a big Kappa.
But it's not your Twitch's Kappa.
No, but they should be.
It's not the Kappa from your sorority house. Actually, might be. You gotta check those people. They might be Kappas in disguise.
It could be very likely.
What do you know of the Kappa?
So, I watched a couple of videos about them today and learned so much that I just don't even think I wanted to know, if I'm honest. I'm gonna let you tell, because I think I know most of what you're gonna talk about, so I'm gonna let you talk about it because I don't even want to say it. But I would just like to say my favorite thing about them is that they are excessively obsessed with politeness. So if you get them to bow, then their water will pour out of their head, and then they are more helpful than they are menacing. And it just, I felt like I could relate to that because I too would bow and forget there was water in my head.
Yeah, like a quick description of the Kappas, in case anybody's wondering or don't know what they look like. They are one of the most common and popular Japanese yokais. They are either, color-wise, they're either green, blue, yellow, or red. Or the four colors I've seen. They're humanoid, so they stand on two legs. Well, they can. Some of them stand on two legs, some of them crawl on all fours. But they have webbed feet, webbed hands for moving through the water quickly, because they are a water yokai. Then,
If it helps anybody picture them, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were mistaken for them in the third movie when they went back in time to old Japan. So they're a lot more gruesome looking, so they don't look exactly like that. But like the very eerie personified turtle / frog looking ideal is kind of what they look like.
as Kak said, they have a turtle shell, also a beak, very shaggy hair with like a divot or a plate in the very top of their head, which holds water. And that water is their source of life when they're on land. When they spill it, they either become dead, they start suffocating, or they become paralyzed and lose all their strength. They are roughly about the size of a small child, about 8 or 9, maybe about 5 foot tall at the most, but with a supernatural strength to them when their divots they're on top of their head are filled with water. They have a love of cucumbers and politeness. You can usually win them over with both. And they have some bad habits as well. They tend to like to challenge people to sumo matches.
And lose a lot.
Yes.
They lose a lot.
Losing tends to happen a lot when they're that size, and when they go to bow to start, they dump all their water out. But an also thing that also causes them to lose, even if they don't dump all their water out, is that if you yank on one of their arms, the other arm...
They just break off!
That's one way, yeah. They either break off, or their arms are connected together. So if you pull one, the other one goes into its shell, and the other one extends.
They're like a Chinese finger trap backwards.
Yes. And if you pull on the other, it goes the other way. So he's only trying to sumo wrestle you with one arm. Or no arms if you get both of them just broken off. The arms are kind of frail and fragile. But if they challenge you and set the terms into water, and you got sumo wrestle in the water, then you're pretty much done for. You can actually become friends with them, because if you trick them into spilling all the water out, then go to their water source and fill up their head again with water, they owe you a favor, whether it's becoming friendly or not killing everyone in your entire village, or maybe having them, avoid pulling out your shika.
Now we're a beatboxing podcast. On we go.
Shiri Kodama. Did you come across that in your research, Kayak?
I did not. Most of the videos that I watched mentioned a lot of the arms breaking off easily. They mentioned the water dumping out of the head. It also mentioned that they were easily tricked. Like, they were tricksters themselves, but they seemed to be pretty easily tricked with politeness and otherwise some other questionable things that I just don't want to talk about. But it was, mine was mostly like the arm breaking and the head tipping. How to get them to dump the water out of their head, that kind of thing.
That's a lot of the newer things. Some of the older things where the Kappa's more dangerous is in the water, they'd used to pretend to be kids having a hard time swimming in order to get you out there, where they'd either drown you or they would suck out your Shirikodama. And what your Shirikodama is...
I don't even want to have this conversation, and I know that we're going to have this conversation, but I would just like to know why they're collecting them like Dragon Balls. I just really... do they eat them?
Yes, it's a source of food and nutrition form. Just like cucumbers.
Tell the people what it is. No. Okay, cucumbers, I can understand. I'll feed them a cucumber. They can stay the fuck away from my ass. Okay, so go ahead and tell the people what it is.
What the Shirikodama is a spherical organ inside a human anus that contains the human soul. And these are one of the Kappa's favorite treats. And in order to get it, they either have to A, reach their arm up inside your anus and pull it out, or B, suck it out. And they have beaks.
I'm not a fan. Also, I saw that something, if you take it out, like if they take it out, it's also an easier way for them to get up there to your liver, because the liver is also tasty for them.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cork to your liver. You're just kind of popping it out.
I didn't like that.
Just like there's these, in England, there's this pop that has these bottles with a marble in it. So when you go to drink it, you depress the marble and then you can get to the drink. But if you spill it over, the marble stops it. It acts like that. But if they remove it, they remove your soul. So it's pretty much just your guaranteed death that way. And if you live long enough to lose that, they usually end up drowning you. How many anuses do you think a Kappa has?
Oh god, I don't want to know. How many?
Take a guess.
5.
Close. That'd be way more impressive. The Kappa only has 3 anuses.
Only.
That way it can pass thrice the amount of gas. Be more stinky. They're also very rude sometimes back in the day, where they just constantly pass gas in the water. They are known to have peeked up women's kimonos, hide in toilets so they could feel the butt cheeks of women.
I did see that, just so they could caress your butt cheeks. That's like they wait in the toilet for you to sit.
They have a very very odd obsession with butts. Can you imagine it's just a child, though, hanging out in a toilet, just waiting to feel butt cheeks? Because they're the size of a child.
Yeah, but then you turn around and that child has a beak and a shell and looks terrifying.
Right before you get up, it tries to get your shirikadama.
I would just cry and die.
That's usually what happens when I do.
Trigger warning, but trigger warning for rape, SA, and child death.
Yeah, they've been known to rape and assault women, and if they get them pregnant, the people of the village didn't really like having the kids around. So they throw the kids into the river for being half Kappa. Whether that creates more Kappas or less is unknown because they don't really know where the rest of the children went. And this is also ties into pretty much the origin of the Kappas. Because back in early Japan, they had a limit on children, and because they had an overpopulation issue. So if they would have a stillbirth or a child they didn't take care of, they would throw them in the river. So they have said to put up signs and start the stories of the Kappas to warn their children to stay away from the rivers in case they see a body floating down the river.
That does not surprise me. I did know about Japan's rule about like limited children in the household and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, it's kind of a little dark, not a happy thing to talk about, but it's part of their origin. Another origin possibility is when the monks came over. It looks, because the Kappas have kind of like that monk-style haircut. They thought that people made up stories about them. In the media and stuff today, the Kappas portrayed as not as angry or harmful to people. Even back in those times, if you were able to make friends with a Kappa, you were able to get them to sign contracts and such in order to either keep you from getting harmed by them, or they could help with farming and irrigation. Even today, people still throw cucumbers with your family's name on it, or your child's name on it, into the river in order to, as an offering to the Kappas, in order to keep your child safe when swimming in lakes and rivers. Japan, even now, still up today, has road signs next to their waters, like we have the, warning jellyfish in the water signs. They have warning Kappas in this river.
Oh, love that.
They also smell like fish, which one would imagine they would smell like fish.
Yeah, they just give off that kind of energy.
And there's two different things. Either in order to help prevent being attacked by a Kappa, you either don't eat any cucumbers before you get into water, at least an hour, or do eat cucumbers within an hour of getting in water.
That seems like a double-edged sword.
Yes.
So, like, I either eat a cucumber before getting in the water and then immediately get in the water, or I don't eat a cucumber before getting in the water or wait an hour. Or is it like eat a cucumber and stay on land?
The one side says you want to eat the cucumber before you get into the water, like right then, so that the Kappa smells the cucumber on you and thinks you're a friend.
Right.
Or you don't want to, otherwise if you do eat the cucumber and go into water, the Kappa will see you and smell you as food.
Right, that's where I was going with it. I feel like he would more so be like, ooh, food.
That's what I was kind of thinking as well. Maybe a Kappa originated the other one. You know how people put cucumbers in their water now. They're just trying to trick you to put cucumbers in you. That was some of the basic info and such about the Kappas. We can move on to a little bit of media if you're ready, Chaotic.
So yes, I did do slight research with media. It wasn't like extensive. So I know a little bit. I know they're in a lot of video games, specifically like Nintendo games. And the little bit of tidbit of thing I mentioned earlier was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. There was a couple of times that they're brought up there, but mostly video games, it seems. I do know there's a Pokemon.
The Pokemon is Ludicolo, I'd imagine. No, his line. Ludicolo, Lombre, and Lotad? Lotad, Lombre, and Ludicolo. They're all kind of Kappas. They got beaks. They got water saucers on their head. webbed feet. Then there's a Kappa in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, he's the captain of the ship.
Yes. And it's spelled Kappa in Kappn, I think. Kappn.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And he talks about how he loves cucumbers and different Kappa related songs.
When I saw that, I've not actually used it to travel. I haven't gotten that far in Animal Crossings or done any of like the little house and home things or anything like that. But I go over there and visit him, and I was always like, this man looks like a frog did some drugs. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like this man looks a little lit. So it's very neat to know what he is now.
And you can find him in almost all fantasy games that have any type of mythology creatures in them. They usually add a Kappa, either as a enemy or just a, goof character.
I saw a couple of them are like little troll messengers. Like they popped up in the middle of like a river surge or like just to mess with you in the middle of the game, or they seem to be pretty trolly.
Yeah. In anime, there's a bunch of anime as well. Usually just as side characters, or there is an actual anime though that goes on an adventure of 3 boys who turn into a Kappa, and they have to sing and dance and stuff, but their end goal is to get somebody's Shirikodama from them. This is like a child's anime.
Oh no.
I could not find it though again when I went to go look for it. I think there's actually a movie just called Kappa.
That's terrifying.
There's a lot of Kappas, a lot of blah blah blah. There's a lot of Kappas everywhere in media. Pretty well known. Oh, there's a actual sushi roll too, named after the Kappa.
Yeah, it's the cucumber rolls.
Mm-hmm. I don't know sushi very well, so I can't pronounce its name. Kappamaki? Yeah. Cucumber sushi roll is a kappamaki. Oh, and I did forget to mention what Kappa means. It translates to water boy? Water child. River child. It translates to river child, is what Kappa means. We can probably move on with the mayhem. I think they would be troublesome.
I think they'd be troublesome, but maybe not so much like a worry.
Yeah, because not a lot of people actually swim or bathe in the rivers anymore. So you have less chances of getting your butts caressed. Maybe more toilets.
Yeah, there might be more toilet kappas, which would terrify me because I already have this like irrational fear of a snake biting me when I sit on the toilet.
Not irrational if you live in Ohio.
It's not irrational if you live in Ohio. And for some reason, it's like a worldwide female presenting thing that if you sit on the toilet, you're terrified there's going to be something in it that comes up and bites you. So at least I'm not alone, I guess.
Maybe it's a natural instinct to fear the toilets because somebody in your past life experienced a Kappa attack.
Maybe we're on our guard.
I'd say less likely river attacks, more likely public pools.
Like public restroom, public pools.
I don't know if they deal with the chlorine well.
I'd say probably not, since they exist in freshwater.
Yeah. They're pretty smart also, from what I've seen, in order to actually understand human language and be able to make deals and contracts and bow politely.
Yeah, and the bowing thing, I would know immediately. I would be like, oh, let me bow. Boom, you're dead.
What if the coppers are so smart, they invented the bowing thing in order to, maybe they work in teams of 2. The one comes up, bows, and the other one, as you're bowing, you expose a good, nice passage to the Shirikodama. That's when they get you.
I'm gonna start curtsying. No more bowing.
Oh no, you foiled their plans.
Yeah.
That might actually be from what I've seen, they only travel in groups when they're younger, so when they're older, they go single.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this is a case of needing the National Guard. But I feel like it would be a case of, if you're going to the river, stay strapped.
So if you go into the river, wear your butt plug.
I almost just died on my Mountain Dew. I imagine in a world full of kappas, I feel like butt plugs would be more common and like less of like a taboo. It would be like, oh yeah, everybody has a butt plug, so you can stay away from kappas. It's fine. You go out in public, it's just something you put on. You just automatically throw it on.
Maybe that's why they were invented. Maybe they were just copper protection. That's why they come in all sorts of sizes and shapes, just so the Kappa can collect them.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
You called them like Dragon Balls before.
Yes, I didn't call them decorative butt plug awards. That's not what I was headed for.
It was close.
Yeah, you're right. Dragon Balls, butt plug, same thing.
I'm sure they got a combination of both.
They do.
Gotta collect all 7 and make a wish all together.
I'm leaving this chat. I'm done. We're cut off. The episode's done.
But they have a weakness to iron, so I don't think you really need much. Pull a knife on a Kappa. I don't know. I think they'd still try and wrestle you. Throw you in the water. On land, like a danger level of like 2. In the water, like a danger level of 10.
Yeah, I can agree. In the water, definitely more dangerous. Can wrestle you like a crocodile, gator roll you, kill you, you know, all kinds of things. On land, more like a regular frog.
A frog mixed with a turtle speed if you get him to empty his water out. That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
That's all I got.
If you wish to talk to us more about the growing market for Kappa protected butt plugs, then please join Chaotic's chat over on her Twitch.
If you come in and start talking about Kappa butt plugs, I make no promises about what my mod Loki will do to you.
Thank you all for listening, and thank you to our patrons, Mondi, Ruby, who was on last week, and Thor. Please leave if you would, please leave a like, a review, a subscribe, whatever your podcast medium listening does that you can. It helps the show out. Spread it by word of mouth. Tell your friends you heard in a podcast that Mothman runs the mothball factory and that Kappas run the butt plug industry.
I feel like they'd be trying to take the butt plug industry down.
Yeah, probably. They're anti-butt plug agent.
Join us again next Monday on Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem, found on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Anchor.fm. Silver and Chaotic talk about how monsters and myths came to be and how they'd be received in modern-day society. Follow, like, and subscribe to support. Also find the podcast on Twitter and Discord with the links below to keep up to date with the newest merch and activity. Besides, who knows what mayhem we will get into next.
Yep. Cue the music.
Roll it! We're fucking done!